Hello and welcome. My name is Josh, and today I will be guiding you through your calm, warm, and soothe. So our first posture today will just be laying down in supine. Get yourself comfortable on the spine. Just allowing the body to connect to the ground. Just get comfortable on the back. Allow the arms to just reach out either side. If you do have a preference here, maybe taking the arms up overhead, maybe even just to center yourself a little bit more, feel free to take one hand onto the chest and one hand onto the belly. Allow yourself to find some space here, just center the body, center the mind, start to focus on how we're feeling in this current moment. Acknowledge your immediate vicinity, just taking in any sights, sounds, smells that you have just around you. Opening out through the senses, and then taking one deep inhalation to sigh out of the mouth. Feel free to take one or two more of these, just again allowing yourself to release anything from the body that does not serve you. Breathing in and exhaling when you feel ready. Taking these last few moments just to acknowledge the slow and passive rise and fall of the belly and chest, maybe even the slow beating of the heart. Allowing yourself to tie into that rhythm. Again, just closing the eyes. And now taking yourself inward, focusing more on what is happening inside. Any specific areas of the body that are just calling out for your attention. And keep moving with that breath as we move into our first posture, just finding some extension, lengthening your arms up over the head. Take a deep inhalation, length from the tips of the toes all the way into the fingers. And as we exhale, just drawing one knee into the chest at a time, squeeze yourself deep. Beautiful. Relaxing the head back down. Begin to just open those knees out to the side, coming into lazy baby. Finding a little bit of opening in the hips. If you do fancy a little bit of movement here, just rocking left to right, that is absolutely fine. Any variations are open for your choice. Try to be intuitive with your practice. And as always, just listen to the body. Beginning to lengthen both legs to the sky. Find that extension once again. Point through the toes first and just isolating the ankles here. Start to find a little bit of movement. Just flexing. Funny thing about feet is that you're never extending, they're always flexing. We have plantar flexion and dorsiflexion, which is quite interesting. Maybe just to me, but fun fact. Just keep finding that movement. Again, anything that feels good to you, maybe even just bending or extending through the legs. And here, starting to use our first prop. So if you do have a strap with you, that is fantastic. Feel free to take that in hand. If you do not have a strap with you today, instead what we can just use is maybe a towel, maybe just a sheet. I could always say if you have a long HDMI cable, you could use that as well. And just going to wrap them around the feet. So taking hold of that now, and again, getting comfortable in that posture. Just wrapping it around the ball of the foot if we can, making sure that we have some extension in the arms, trying not to use too much strength in the biceps. Keep engaging the feet, pull the toes towards the body. And as we exhale, we begin to draw some space into the hamstrings. If this is a little bit too intense for you, always feel free to have a slight bend in the knees. That is absolutely fine. We can then instead focus on trying to draw the thighs towards the belly, almost connect the bottom of the stomach to the upper thigh. Keep pulling in for 1 or 2 more breaths. Trying to maintain that contact between your tailbone and the ground. 1 final exhalation. Fantastic. And then just unwrapping your left leg here. Extend that down to the bottom of the mat. Again, take 1 inhalation just to lengthen that leg. As we exhale, pull in, create that space. And try to keep that left foot engaged as much as we can on the ground. And you might start to get a little bit of a shake in that right leg. I always do here. That just means that we are indeed lengthening that hamstring. Fantastic. Taking the strap in our left hand, just beginning with a twist. Cactusing the right arm out as we exhale, and when you feel comfortable, just dropping that right foot over to the left hand side. Gazing over the right shoulder, starting to make space not only in the hamstring, but now the glute med, the right hip. And finding some space in the upper spine, in the thoracic cavity, the chest. And continuing to follow that breath. Engage the core as much as we can, breathing deep into the chest space. Try to imagine the ribs just parting with every inhalation. If you would like to challenge your flexibility here, I always do like to give the option of trying to take that left foot, or the right foot, in the left hand. If we can, that is fantastic. If not, we always have the option to just take the leg in hand instead and just pull that right foot up toward the left shoulder. Take a few more breaths into the chest here. Keep pulling the belly into the spine. And preparing to come back to center. Just taking your strap in hand, lifting and lengthening back to center, maybe readjusting the hips. And starting to come out to the opposite side. So taking the strap in our right hand now, maybe finding your wrap once again, left arm comes out to the side. Starting to open the hip. Here, a really important part to start to take your attention to is making sure that the left hip stays planted on the ground. Make sure we still have some contact between the left bum cheek and the earth. Keep engaging that left foot if we can. And keep drawing that right leg up toward the right shoulder. the extension all the way through the knee if possible. A gentle reminder once again to just maintain that engagement in the right foot. Keep pulling the toes towards the knee. Continue to follow your breath. And 2 more rounds. As we inhale, engaging the core, lift back to center. And we can release that strap now, or whatever you were using, just relax it down to the ground. Maintaining that extension in the right leg, begin to bring that left knee up, planting the foot behind the bum, preparing to come into our supine pigeon posture. Just cross that right foot over the left knee. And again, getting comfortable here through the hips, just setting that tailbone. If you feel like you want to challenge yourself, feel free to just come up onto the toes, or we can take a bind. Allow yourself a little bit of protection through the knee by engaging the right foot. Again, always pulling these toes back toward the knee and beginning to push that right knee away from the body with the engagement of the glute. Keep creating that space, and again, on the exhalation, we pull a little bit closer. One final deep breath. Exhaling and releasing that left leg, just planting the foot, coming into our next posture. Now, a little bit of a variation, again, for that right hip, planting your palms facing down and getting comfortable through that left foot, just grounding deep. On your exhalation, begin to thrust the hips towards the ceiling. Maybe feel free to draw the shoulders in toward each other. Keep pushing the chest to the sky. And again, we're focusing on pulling that right knee down toward the ground. Try to observe whatever sensation you can in that right hip now. Keep trying to square the hips as much as we can, tucking the tailbone, engaging the glutes. Exhale to release, extending both legs high. And again, just taking the strap or the hands, begin to pull in to center. When comfortable, this time just extending the right leg down to the bottom of the mat. Again, if we did take our strap on the other side, try to stay equal and even, and just use that on this side also. Taking one inhalation to extend the leg as we exhale, pulling in to center. Maintain the engagement in the right foot and the left. One more breath. And when you feel comfortable, just taking the strap into the right hand. Again, we cactus out with the left hand. Begin to twist down to the right. Gaze over the left shoulder. And begin to just find that slow, deep breath into the lungs, into the chest space. Try to engage the core. Try to not allow any movement of the breath to move there. Instead here, just focus on the chest, on the rib cage. And keep trying to deepen that twist with every exhalation. Two more breaths. If we are feeling a little bit uncomfortable here, start to just observe which area you're feeling this posture in the most. As long as we're not feeling pain, just try to practice your tolerance in the pose. Keep focusing on the breath. And on the exhalation, we find a little bit more space before re-grasping that strap and pulling back to center. That one brief inhalation for length, exhaling to pull in. Option always for that slight bend in the knee. And again, swapping the strap over to the left hand. Cactusing the right arm out. And beginning to open that leg out to the left hand side. Keep engaging the feet. Just be mindful of that right hip pushing down, making sure that we're not losing connection and just twisting over in the hips. Keep pulling that leg down, almost using the right arm as a counterweight. Focus to the breath. Keep pulling that left leg all the way up toward the left shoulder. And one more deep breath. Try to find whatever space you have left, move into it. And then rising back to center. Again, just getting comfortable through that left leg. Give yourself a moment to adjust and resettle into the pose before removing the strap. And then raising through the right knee, just placing that foot down behind the glutes. And again, just wrapping this leg over toward the right knee. If we chose the option on this side to just come onto the toes, that might be enough for your hip. Otherwise, if you do want to challenge yourself again, feel free to come for that bind. And again, beginning to push that left knee away from the body, either with the elbow or by just using the engagement of the thigh, of the quad, of the hip. Keep pulling those toes back toward the left knee, again as a protection mechanism. Just a few more breaths, moving into the space that we create on the inhalation. As we exhale, pulling deeper. And one or two more breaths. Acknowledging here which side is more or less flexible for you. Which side do you feel dominant on? The right or the left? And beginning to release, placing that right foot down and not unbinding the left leg just yet. Placing the hands and beginning to lift through the hips. Again, squaring the hips as much as we can and beginning to pull that left knee down toward the ground with the engagement of the glute of the left hip. Keep pulling the chest up to the ceiling. The shoulders almost rounding down and under together. And one more breath. Releasing when comfortable. Unbind that leg, extend both to the ceiling. Give a little point, to through the toes. And as we exhale, just squeeze into the chest once again. And when you feel ready, taking the hands to the backs of the knees. I'm going to find a rock up to seated here. Just extend those legs, and when ready, again, just rising up. Finding the front of the mat, and now coming into some more hip opening. My favorite posture actually are double pigeon. Some might know it as firelog pose. And what we're going to try and do first, again, just making sure that we are engaging both feet, is take one heel or one foot under each knee. Now, we don't really want to find a posture where we are prohibiting movement with the feet. So the wider the feet are, the more comfortable we can get. Make sure that the front leg is parallel to the front of the mat. And as we inhale, finding some engagement on this one, just lengthen through the arms. Find that extension in the fingers. Exhale, pull down, just open the chest very briefly. Pull the arms back and down, tap the fingertips. Inhale, lengthen back. And as you exhale, begin to fold forward with a lengthened spine. Now, we can pause at the bottom here to try and find some more space. That length and the weight in the arms is going to pull down through the lower spine. Keep engaging the core. And as we exhale, find your resting pose. If this one is a little bit too intense for you, we don't have to go full extension. We can just take the hands down somewhere comfortable in front of the body. And we want to make sure that we have length in the spine. So try not to round the back and just try and reach forward as far as we can. Keep pulling the shoulders backwards, almost pronouncing the chest to the front of the room. Again, an option is always to just sit on a block if that feels more comfortable for your hips. This can be quite intense. Lengthening the spine on the inhalation, exhaling to move deeper, and continuing this for 5 more breaths. Slowly, as we can, begin to walk the hands back to center. Be gentle with the hips and the spine. Just rising up here. As we inhale, find that extension once again. Lengthening to the fingertips. On the exhalation, just placing the right hand. Start to lean over to the right hand side. Again, pull the shoulder backwards. We're gazing to the ceiling, try and create that space and lengthening as far as we can through the left fingertips. If you would like to find some more space, feel free to place that right elbow. Engage in the core once again. Focus your breath into the chest and keep planting down through the left bum cheek. We don't want to be rising over and moving toward the right. We just want to have square hips. Find that length and that natural arc from the left hip to the hips. One more breath. Breathe deep into the left-hand side of the ribcage. Exhale a little bit further, and as we inhale, find center. Extend through both of the arms, and as we exhale, just take the hands down to heart center. Take a moment to rest. Just take the breath and the mind inward. One exhalation out of the mouth when you feel ready. Again, just working out anything that doesn't serve you. And when you flicker your eyes open, preparing for our opposite side. When you feel comfortable, just switching the legs around here. Now this will naturally be your less preferred side. I know this definitely is mine. Making sure that we have that alignment set once again. One heel under each knee. And as we inhale, engaging the feet, lengthen the arms. Exhale, draw the shoulders back and down, open the chest, create space for the heart, the Anahata chakra. Inhale, lengthen. As we exhale, if you chose that engagement, pulling down with a lengthened spine, holding somewhere at the bottom, just making sure that when we do hold this posture, we still have length in the lower spine. We don't want to be rounding forwards because that will make use of the wrong muscles. One more breath here. And exhale, setting yourself in whatever comfortable position you have. Bear in mind that we are lengthening from the lower back at all stages of this pose. Inhaling to lengthen the spine, draw the shoulders backwards. Exhaling to pull further forwards, and just being careful with how far you move on this side. Since it might be your less preferable, then we might have a little bit less space to give. Make sure that we are comfortable and that the progression that we are showing, all that space that we're moving into, is safe. I have definitely had occurrences in the past with this posture where I've pushed too far. It feels really nice to just saddle yourself all the way down, but obviously sometimes the body can't take it. So just making sure, once again, that we are not pushing those limitations too far. A couple more breaths in through the nose, lengthening the spine. Exhaling, folding down. And as we inhale, again, beginning to very gently and carefully walk those fingers back to center. Lengthen through the arms. Find your space. And as we exhale, once again, just planting the left fingertips or palm, maybe even forearm, lengthening over to the right-hand side. Draw the right shoulder back, gaze high or forwards. Just make sure that we are not, again, arching forwards, closing off the chest. Keep pulling backwards, creating space for the chest, the heart space. And inhaling to lengthen both arms skyward. As we exhale, planting your palms forward, and we're just going to roll over the knees here and find ourselves in tabletop posture. Coming into a little bit more movement here, we're going to find some spinal waves to bring some more life back to the body. Starting with our first very simple sequence here, just finding cat-cow, lifting and lengthening the chest, arching through the lower spine. Just lift the chin to the ceiling as we exhale, rounding through the back, really pushing those shoulder blades apart from one another, engaging the core and just breathing out completely. Inhale, lengthen. Open through the core, the chest, and the neck. Exhale, round. Start to play around with some variations here. Try not to just confine yourself to one style of movement. If you feel more comfortable rocking back and forward, feel free to find that movement. Maybe even moving left or right, barrel rolling through the spine, just doing whatever feels comfortable to you. Try to move freely, work through the hips, through the shoulders, through the wrists. And this is always a fantastic time to start conditioning the wrists, getting used to placing a little bit more pressure in each hand. We can play around with variations, maybe on the fingertips, maybe even if you do want to challenge the back of the wrist. And coming back to center, take a moment to settle and push ourselves back into child's pose. Maybe widening child's pose if you feel comfortable, lengthening the arms, inhaling through the spine, exhaling to fold down. Take one more breath here, and we're going to move into our next sequence of spinal waves. Now, make sure that where you are moving with the breath is comfortable. And what I mean by that is there is no right or wrong way to be moving through the breath in this sequence. Just breathing when you feel you need to. Focus more on the physical movement of what we're doing. First, rising up into our cat pose, really rounding the spine here. And then starting to roll forwards. Open the chest. Pronounce the heart forwards before rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae. Make sure the elbows are squeezing into the center line of the body. The chin will touch the ground and we begin to push back, arching through the lower spine. Make sure that we are trying to roll over the elbows here rather than having them out to the side. And push all the way back to child's pose. Rising again to cat posture. Open the spine. Roll forward, down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Chin along the ground, push back, child's pose. And begin to flow through this sequence in your own breath. Finding that fluidity. As fast or slow as you like. And one or two more rounds, just maintain that control. On your final round, just settle back to our child's pose. Lengthen through the arms. Take a deep breath into the chest as we exhale. Sit a little bit deeper. And walking your fingers forwards. Finding our next posture, some more space for the heart. Our melting heart pose or happy puppy pose. Setting the hips up so that they are directly above the knees and just trying to lengthen through the body. The arms extended overhead. And we can either have the head facing forward here. If we do have that flexibility in the spine, we can rest the chin on the ground. Or we can either have the forehead down. Keep finding that length from the tip of the tailbone all the way into the fingertips. And any variations again are open for your practice. If we would like to find some more space in the lats, in the front body, feel free to take the hands into prayer and relax the arms back behind the head. Taking your last few breaths here. And again, really, if you would like to challenge yourself, you can either just pull deeper through the front body, really pulling into that arch of the spine, or we do have one final variation to really challenge the body. This one, not really one that I use too often, but it can be quite fun. With that length in the arms, we can begin to just extend one leg backwards at a time, lifting those hips a little bit higher. Final breath here. And beginning to just lengthen forwards. Plant the full front body on the ground and feel free to hang out in Sphinx for a moment or two if you would like. Just lifting the chest a little bit more, finding some space for the shoulders. If not, then we can just relax down onto the chest, finding our final two postures, lengthening the right arm out to the side, beginning to wheel over onto the right hand side here. Stacking the hips and the shoulders. Again, any variation is open for you. Just make sure wherever we are comfortable in the pose. Keep lengthening through that right arm, really planting the shoulder, the bicep, and the forearm into the ground. For comfort in this pose, we can always take a block underneath the head, if you would like to use that for a pillow, if it does not reach the ground. Alternatively, we can use just our hand also, whatever makes you feel more comfortable in this restorative posture. One or two more breaths. And slowly moving back to center. And swapping ourselves over for the opposite side. Again, stacking the shoulder and the hip. Maybe placing the block or again, a hand under the face. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Keep moving with the breath. Try to focus inward. Again, just checking in with the body. Every exhalation serves as a release for anything that doesn't serve you in the moment. Every inhalation brings in strength. And for the very final time, we can find here where our natural preference is. Which side is more or less comfortable, more or less flexible. 1 or 2 more breaths, really trying to find whatever space is left and moving into it. And finally, just taking the chest back down onto the ground. Lengthen the arms up overhead. Take that deep inhalation, lengthen, tuck the tailbone. And on our exhalation, finally, just rolling ourselves over onto the spine. Taking ourselves into our Shavasana, our final resting pose, or any pose that feels comfortable for you. You might opt to have a block underneath the lower spine, the pelvis, the chest. We might even come into our supine butterfly if that serves you, allowing the knees to drop out to the sides. Whatever posture you find, just make sure that you are comfortable, you are settled. Allow the breath to return to normal. And once again, allowing these senses now to shift outwards from the body, away from what we have been doing here, and now into our immediate vicinity, everything that surrounds us in this space, this room, or wherever you are today. If we have not already, allow the eyes to close. Allow yourself a moment to breathe, to rest, to gaze inward. And if we can, just taking whatever space you have created in this practice, taking whatever intention that we might have set, and allowing that to guide us through the rest of our day, or even the evening, whatever point in time that you have taken this class. One more moment to breathe. And in your own time, just roll yourself over onto the right-hand side. For me, I will just roll to the left, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And finally, pushing through the hands, starting to find your way back up into our easy pose, or whatever posture feels most comfortable for you. Lengthening the spine, draw space into the chest, the shoulders backwards. As we inhale, just lengthen the arms up and high, hands to heart center. Exhale out of the mouth. Bow the chin within yourself. Thank yourself for the practice you have completed today, for the mind and for the body. And I thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.